Hey guys, so welcome back to week 4 of God's wrath against sinful humanity. This week is the one that I've kind of been working my way up to. I've been putting this video off this morning. It was up at 7:30 this morning. It's 11:30 now. And I was just like, ugh, do I really want to make this video? It's something that I'm excited to talk about, but I'm also nervous about how you'll take it. So a quick disclaimer is that, well, not necessarily a disclaimer, kind of just a warning, that I talk a lot about being lesbian and being gay in this video, and it's just solely because of the verses. I wouldn't make a video talking about that if it didn't go along with these verses. So let's open up our Bibles to Romans chapter 1. If you don't have a Bible, go online, just Google Romans chapter 1, and it's basically almost all of Romans chapter 1. It's probably half. So you know how this is going to go. I'm going to read verses 18 through 32, and today we are going to be looking at verses 26 through 27. So let's get started. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness, since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like a mortal human being, and birds and animals and reptiles. Therefore God gave them over in the sinful desires of their heart to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchanged the truth about God for a lie, and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is praised forever. Amen. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations for other unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their error. Furthermore, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that they ought not to be done. So they do what ought not to be done, They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding, no fidelity, no love, no mercy. Although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these very things, but also approve of those who practice them. So today's going to be a little bit interesting because I am going to be looking at verses 26 through 27, but then I'm also going to bop over to 32 when we're done, and just do the last little section of that verse, because I have a point that I want to make for that. So, welcome to this week. I'm very, very nervous about this video, guys. So so you know, before we get into this, if you disagree with what I'm gonna be saying here, go down and roast me in the comments. I honestly don't care. You can say whatever the heck you want. You can dislike this video. I'm still going to keep it up. I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if I offend you, I would like to say sorry in advance. I really am not trying to do this to offend anyone or to bring anyone down in any way. I'm just pointing out facts. That's all that I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to just go straight along with this. And I am talking a lot, which is something that I do when I'm nervous. So here we go. Alright, in your Bibles, we are going to be looking at verse 26 and 27, so let's read that really fast. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations for other unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their error. By the way, I'm reading from the New International Version Bible, so if you have a different version of Bible, dang it, I'm sorry, my Bible just flipped out from there. If you have a different version of the Bible, it might look a little bit different, especially if you have the King James Version. So I would encourage you to switch over to NIV, because I'm going to be looking at some of the words in here. So what does lust mean? Like, what is lust? Lust is a very strong sexual desire, according to the internet and the dictionary and stuff. I did some research on it. And so that is what lust is. So knowing that, if you didn't know that before, because of this, God gave them over to their shameful, very strong sexual desires. So we know that part first. So they desired for their men to be with men and their women to be with women. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations for unnatural ones. So that means going from me, so that would be like, for example, instead of me being a female, going ahead and marrying a male, I would marry another female, or in other words, I would be lesbian. And for a guy, like my brother, to go ahead and say, okay, I don't want to marry a female, I'm going to marry a male, and I'm going to be gay, right? Pretty sure it's gay either way, but I don't know too much about the terms, so correct me if I'm wrong, please. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust. So again, they were inflamed with very strong sexual desire for one another. So that means that they really wanted to be with each other. And they committed shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their error. So that's all good and well to say that they did this, but why? So this is the point where we're going to go ahead and flip right on over to verse 32. And we're just going to go to the last little section. There should be a comma, and it says, they not only continue to do these very things, but also approve of those who practice them. So this is something that is a problem in our world. So we're looking at verses 26 and 27. We get the understanding that, okay, being gay or lesbian is bad, and that we're not supposed to do that. And then in the end, it says that we are accepting the people who do that. And that is literally what's going on right now. And if you can't see that that's going on right now, look in the news media. Like, you know, it's legal now for gay people to get married, and there are gay pride parades. Obviously not everyone's accepting of it. Certain presidents, I'm pretty sure it's like the conservatives, don't like the lesbian or gay community, and they don't approve of that, whereas the more progressive people think that that's okay. Now, I want to get something cleared up really fast. I don't support gay rights. I don't think that it should be legal for them to get married. But that doesn't mean that I am not going to love gay people. I have met gay people before. They're all super nice, and I love being around them. Like, they're just super nice, happy people. Just like, they're just like normal people. So I'm not going to treat them and be like, oh, you're gay, so I'm not going to hang out with you, like, because my religion says that. This is how I have explained it to some of my friends why I don't support this, is because I always compare this to lying, is the one that I always compare it to. Is it's like, okay, in the Bible, it says that you shouldn't lie. In the Bible, it also says that you shouldn't be gay or lesbian. So I am not going to go to a parade that supports lying. Like, that's not something that people do, right? And I'm not going to want to make it legal to lie. And obviously, like, everyone around me lies. Like, everyone's done it before. Like, my best friends have done it. My parents have done it. I still love my parents, and I treat them like regular people. And same with my friends who lie. Because that's a sin, and everyone sins, and I know that it's just a sin. And so it's the same for being gay or lesbian. Like, it's a sin, and people sin. Their sin just shows a little bit more than it would when you're lying or stealing something. Like, you can tell sometimes just by looking at them or talking to them. And sometimes you wouldn't be able to tell that they steal or lie just by looking at them or talking to them. So that's why it's kind of weird sometimes, because you can tell easier. And that's okay. So I want to clear up that I still love you. If you're gay or lesbian and you're watching this, I still love you. I still care about you genuinely, just as much as I do about people who are straight. and I know that God cares about you too, and that He loves you more than I do. He loves you more than you could ever imagine, because He loves you the same as He loves me. Even though I am not gay or lesbian, I still sin, I still lie, cheat, steal stuff. Like, it's just normal sins, and it's not okay, but God loves us no matter what. So that was today's episode of God's wrath against sinful humanity. Like I said before, y'all can go and roast me in the comments. I don't even care. But thank you for bearing with me. Again, I was nervous about this, so I might have gotten a little bit wordy in there somewhere. So thank you for watching this video. Next week, we are going to be doing the last verses, and I think it's 28 through 32. And if y'all have any ideas for a video that you want me to do, or a series, pop down in the comments and let me know. Thank you guys. Have a great week.